It's time for the show about the people and the places of the Carolinas with the occasional visitors. In addition to hosting the award-winning syndicated TV show Life in the Carolinas, Carl White writes a weekly syndicated column and now hosts this weekly show, the Life in the Carolinas podcast. Now you can hear the story about the stories. And now, here's your host, Carl White.
Well, Tabitha, it's so good to see you and have you in our podcast studio.
You. I enjoy it.
You are no stranger to entertainment, though, are you?
Well, this is going to be my 14th season at the Walker Center.
So, everybody, Tabitha, tell everybody who you are and what you do that's so wonderful.
Thank you. So I am Tabitha Hudler. I'm the director at the Walker Center at Wilkes Community College. Was recently put into that position in October. I've played several roles in between the time I started and now, but here we are.
Yes. Are you excited?
I am excited. I love my job.
You know, with our TV show, Life in the Carolinas, we have a series that's called the Carolinas Theater Trail. So the intent was the first few years we would focus on theaters that have historic significance.
Right.
You know, the grand old buildings that have been turned into performance theaters or grand opera houses that have lived over the years.
Yeah.
And this was the year that we would begin to broaden that out and visit other types of theaters.
Right.
And I love the theaters that are tied to our community colleges and technical colleges, because it seems like there's something special about the relationship that they have with the community, and specifically people in the community who value entertainment and education.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Well, it's so amazing to us to have such a huge customer base that has lasted over the years. We have a lifetime Patron program that they put money into several years back, and they have continued those seats throughout, of course, their lifetime, and then they're able to pass those on one time. So that is a continued program we have, and also the season ticket program. So many people do that every year, and we're so fortunate because I talk to several others like us when we go to conferences and things, and they don't have that same customer base. So we are very privileged to be able to have that in such a rural community. And you're right, tying that community in and the support, it just makes you feel good all around.
I mean, you know that every show there's going to be a good number of seats filled,
Yes.
and not really a whole lot extra to sell.
You're right. We have at least 500 tickets that are already sold to our season ticket holders. We have an 1,100 seat auditorium, so there is some availability there, but you know, we want to continue to grow that, and I know that new faces is what we always want to see coming in, because you know, change is good.
Sure.
And we're wanting to offer some new opportunities moving forward.
Well, that's exciting. I think when we talk about the community involvement, the community spirit, and theater, I know that COVID was rough on a lot of theaters. We're post-COVID now. Some say we're not completely out, but
Right.
you know, we're back at it, right? And we're seeing
right.
a lot of theaters that are putting shows on now. Was it the strong base that allowed you to kind of weather that situation and come out okay?
Yeah, I think that had a lot to do with it. Taking us back to that day where we had to close, the Hackard brothers were already in town at the hotel ready to come perform that evening, and we got the call from, you know, the governor saying no more right now. So we had to send them back to Nashville. Luckily, they did come back and play for us when COVID kind of, you know, resided a bit.
Right.
And so we got to have them join us. But I'll never forget that day. It was on Friday the 13th, no pun intended there. But
Wow. Right, I remember
in
that.
the theater world,
right.
that's not a good day.
No.
But anyway, we just threw up our hands like, what do we do here? You know, so many of us sat around a table before it got really bad and kind of came up with a plan. We knew that we couldn't do any of the other shows for that time frame, but we wanted to still keep that customer base really strong. And so we kept communications going throughout that time. But yes, if we did not have the support of that, I'm not sure where that program would be.
So it pays to have a strong foundation, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Why do you think that's happened for the Walker Center? I mean, of course, it's a very successful, part of a very successful community college network. What made it happen? Do you know enough of the history to talk about that? How as you said earlier, it's in a rural community, and there are a lot of people that value entertainment because we have so many talented people here in the Carolinas.
Well, I can tell you that the building was started in 1984. There was a vision among several that worked at the college to have something like that in place. And because of the passion and the dedication, not just then, but all through the years, that is why it's so successful. And I feel like customer service is one of our pride and joys there. We like to be very personal with our customers, handhold whatever we need to do to make them happy, because the entertainment is about making people happy, and it makes us feel good when we know we've done our job.
That sounds like a good practice for all businesses to adopt, right?
It does, yeah.
I like that. So it's more than just coming to watch a theater. People can have dinner?
They can. We are, let's see, since I've been doing the seasons there, we've had an opening reception. We've done dinners before the show. We did, during COVID, another thing that helped us was like an every Thursday night, we had a very special meal that people could come and pick up. We even brought it out to them. We wore the mask. We took care of, no-touch type situations, and they got to have a gourmet meal. So that was really popular for us for a while.
So you did that for your patrons?
We did. Anybody could actually do it. It was open to the public, but of course our customer base was very strong there too, and they kept supporting us throughout that as well. But it's just the dinner before the show is a really nice evening, and we can offer that to approximately $225 to $250 before the show, and those are open to our season ticket holders first, and then if we have other openings, we allow people that have tickets for the show just an individual ticket to attend.
Nice. Now, what's good about that is you have a chef there, right?
We do. Unfortunately, right now we are having some she's not in very good health, and so we are working through that. But we have had the chance to work with Sixth and Main here this year for the upcoming 2 other performances we have for this season. We're actually going to have App State working with us, so their catering program will be working with us to do a great dinner. I'm excited about it.
Nice. So as they say, the show has to go on, right?
It does. And you never know what's going to come about. You just kind of have to go with the flow.
All right. So you're in this spot now. But let's go back in time. Share with us some of your favorite memories, those special moments. Not that Friday the 13th deal.
No. That's definitely not.
I mean, that's memorable, but that's not the memory we're talking about now.
Right.
Just something that, made you sparkle a little extra. Speaking of sparkle, I understand that you are a lady of grand shoes.
Oh, I do love my shoes so much.
So when you take the stage, you're taking the stage.
They have to be, people expect it, and I don't want to let them down.
Okay. So you have a fan base.
I do.
Oh.
Some people even come and say, "Let me see the shoes," and I'm like, "Yes, here they are." I can tell you, one time there was a pair at Marshall's that were just gorgeous, and I called my husband. I'm like, these are holding me hostage until I take them out of the store. I can't leave without them. And I could just hear him shaking his head over the phone, but he knows the drill. They're everywhere in the closet.
So does he need to, what do they call it these days, to get a side hustle, another little
that
extra
gig?
gig?
That would be wonderful.
It's not for a new tractor.
No.
It's for Tabitha's shoes.
Yes. Now,
right?
he did get a new tractor, so, I probably am.
Okay, so you're next in line.
I'm pretty, yeah. Uh-huh.
I know you love shoes
Yes.
because when I met you at reception, because I know you're a shoe person, I looked down. I said, "Oh, you sparkled, that's nice." And then you pulled out another pair, right?
Did.
So, where are those shoes?
Oh,
I mean, this truly, folks, is a shoe aficionado. All right, take a look at this. So,
yes.
so-
Sometimes I pet the shoes when they're special.
Right. No, that's great. So you got your nails done. You got a good pair of shoes. So I can see it was going. It's a little warm in the studio today, so we're both not putting our jackets on, but I wasn't surprised at all. One of your fans, Anne, and she said you would know.
Love her.
She said when I talked to her about you, I just called it because I know she's a patron, and I said, "Well, what do you think about the director?" And she just went, "Oh, I don't know." It was a 20-minute conversation, seems like. So she had only great things to say.
I could definitely ditto that for her. She's a great person.
What does that mean for you to hear patrons, people who come to your theater, and have all these great things to say to people in the community?
It's kind of, it makes me tear up a little.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worthy of it, and I just appreciate them and being able to help them out.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And I love people. I started out working at Lowe's in the call center when I got out of App State.
Right.
And mainly to have a job because I was getting married and we had to have some money.
Right.
And it didn't matter what we had, just as long as we had a job. So I worked there, and I think it helped me really with all the personality levels that you come into contact with now, because with having the festival and being on hands-on with people all the time, you kind of learn to deal with each.
So you're involved with MerleFest as well?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what do you do in that? That's a significant production.
It is. So I serve on the programming committee, so I do get to help with the acts and find those. I also work with the Platinum and Gold Patron program, which they spend several dollars to attend over the weekend, and try to keep them happy. And each one is just an individual story, so I've got to know them over the years, and it really is like a family reunion. I know people say that, like, "Oh, it's a homecoming," and it truly is, because you feel like you've picked up right where you left off, and nothing has, went by the wayside. So those are my two main things, as well as working the box office at the front end of the festival the whole time and managing that.
Is it a little surreal to be in your position, because there's a network that you belong to with other people that run theaters, and when you're chatting with your cohorts and your friends around the country and around the Carolinas, and they know what you got going on, do you feel a little extra proud?
I do. I think that from where I started and to where I am, and hopefully continuing to grow in that career path, I've met so many people. And the conferences, I love to get together with our NCPC group, which is the North Carolina Presenters Consortium. I'm trying to get a little more involved in that with my new role, and attend some more of those meetings. But we have lots of really cool activities that we're able to meet so many different people, and including agents, artists, and just coworkers. So I truly enjoy it. I know that some people say, "You just glow, and I can tell you love your job," and I love to hear that, because sometimes I'm thinking, "Oh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to get this done?" And I get a little overwhelmed, which I guess everybody does.
Sure.
But overall, I like to get up and go to work, and I know a lot of people cannot say that.
It's a good place to be. And I mean, it is hard work, producing events and working with so many different personalities.
Yeah.
it's a challenge, but it's so worth it. You know,
is.
when you see the way the crowd responds, and the entertainers too.
Yeah, and sometimes we hear the naysayers, which is part of the business, but overall, people love the Walker Center. They love MerleFest. They want to attend. They plan their vacations around this. So we want to make sure that it's done right, and it doesn't feel like work. I know that during the festival, I'm there, well, like most of us, about over 90 hours for that week.
Right.
So, but it flies by, and you're constantly in conversation with people and helping with things, and you don't know you're tired till the end. And every Sunday night when I'm sitting there and it's over and I go get my Mexican food, that's what I've done for the last 14 years.
So that's your post. That's your post.
Thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's the after party.
It is all by myself.
I've had enough of you people.
Yes. But it's so good. It's just great to see it all come together and start to finish.
So, having said all of that, you've got a close-knit group of people you work with.
Yes.
But the volunteer level that you have is amazing.
Oh, my goodness. We could not do it without the volunteers. We have a strong base that's there that works constantly. That's 20 of us approximately throughout the year. But the volunteers, over 4,000 over the course of the time there, trying to get
over 4,000 volunteers
for the festival. It's
every
crazy. Every year. Yes,
that's significant.
It is, and they have the opportunity to volunteer for a 4-hour shift and then enjoy the festival the rest of the day at no charge, which is wonderful for them. They also make friends and community, and it's a win-win for everybody. We have volunteers that have been with the Walker Center ever since it opened. For example, Betty Thompson, I don't know if you know her, but she is worthy of mentioning, helped start this facility. And she is who we all aspire to grow up to be. Every time I see her, I say, I want to grow up to be Miss Betty, because she's classy and she's fair, and she loves and has a passion for the Walker Center like nobody I've ever met.
Right. Every art institution has someone like Betty, right?
Yeah.
That person, whether many people involved, there's still a few people that really are that catalyst, you know, the ones that help keep the vision alive.
Right.
Those are special people, aren't they?
They are. And we couldn't, my drive and passion stems from people like that. It makes me want to see it continue.
Right. Well, talking about continuing, you've got quite the schedule lined up for 2022, don't you?
We do. We have 2 more shows for this season. So the Platters are May 20th.
Right.
And then we have a share show, which is Lisa McLowry, which is insanely...
I haven't seen her, but I hear good things about her.
It is crazy how much her mannerisms are like her. And this one kind of came about, I've worked with the agency before, but a brand new agent, and I was the first show she booked as part of that agency. So we've got a thing going, now. So we had dinner together, and she's just wild and crazy. And I'm kind of like, I get excited,
Is
but
she
I'm
a bit in character? Is she a bit... Is she Cher?
Close.
No, that's what I thought.
Like
you're going to feel like it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's crazy to me, but I'm looking forward to that because there's lots of wardrobe changes. It's more of a show than just singing, and it goes from the 60s up till
Does she
now.
have a sonny or not? Is it just her?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not.
All right.
I'm sure there's some that would volunteer to be.
Right. Okay, that's for your super patrons, I guess.
There you go. Those are those front row people.
Oh my goodness!
But I'm gonna get my brochure for the other one just so I don't miss anything.
All right, you go do that. You got to. I think it's beside the shoes.
Oh yes,
right?
It is beside the shoes. Everything's beside the shoes.
There's so many shoes. How many pair? How many pair now?
Well, I don't count flip-flops as shoes.
Right.
We're going to say probably in the hundreds, so that's not too bad.
In the hundreds.
Yeah. That's not too bad. Oh, my goodness. All right. So for 22-23, we're opening the season on September 9th, and that is Croce Plays Croce. Okay. So Jim Croce's son is actually doing a performance with all of his hits. 50th anniversary celebration. Right. I saw the show in person. Phenomenal. They do video footage, and the music plays along with the background. It's just a great, and he plays the piano live, so really good. Then we have LONESTAR coming, of course, a 90s country group from, it's going to be in October. And we have Charles Billingsley, which is very hot on the gospel circuit. He's doing the Christmas performance. So a lot of old school Christmas that we're used to and some of his original stuff, but very classy. And then something new for us, a comedian is on the lineup this time. We had one several years back. It done well for us. We hadn't had that in a while. I think everybody needs a good laugh here now.
I think so too.
And I saw her in person. I laughed solid. I mean, they did like a 20-minute segment, and for the whole 20 minutes, you're just sitting there and laughing because it's so real life. It's not,
sure.
It's not made up stuff.
I love those laughs that hurt.
Yes, me too.
You laugh so much that it's like, but it feels so good.
It does feel good.
And emotionally.
And when the tears fall from laughter, that's the best.
Yeah, all right, good.
All right, and then March 10th, this one is my personal favorite. So it is a combination of three groups. It's the Malpas Brothers, the Appalachian Roadshow, and Tia Goins. Now, I can say I have not seen much of Tia Goins. She is an up-and-coming artist. The other two groups I love. They're very nostalgic, old-fashioned, make you feel good.
Right.
Yeah. Good. So that's March 10th. And then we have had a lot of people request beach music. So we're doing a tribute from the Beach Boys called Sail On. And this group is great, too. They're very in character, dress the part. Music's feel good. I think people will be up on their feet the whole time.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
So
that's rolled from the from 2022 to 2023.
Right. So that will start September and end in May.
Okay.
And then we also have the privilege of adding a couple of feature shows that are not part of the season coming up. So the something we've done in the past and not gotten to since COVID is a family performance. And that's just a night of family fun. We usually try to have pizza, chicken tenders, hot dogs for the kids that they can purchase ahead of time and just enjoy a casual dinner in the ballroom without having to go to a restaurant and then come to do what they're doing. The show is actually called Winter Holiday Laser Celebration. So it's a lot of Christmas music playing to lasers and lights. So really interactive for the kids, especially in this multimedia generation that we're in.
Of course.
So I'm excited to have that.
Bring your cats. They'll love that.
They will. They love it. Lasers for everybody. But then another thing that we're going to try is a ladies' 80s night. So
ladies' 80s.
That's right.
Okay.
Now, I was born in 81.
Right.
So I grew up with the late 80s music, early 90s.
Right.
And I'm excited about this one. We'll dress the part. We're going to have a great time.
Sure.
And that's going to be in February. So when the winter blues hit, we're going to have a party.
Right.
Yeah.
So who's performing? What
it's called the Breakfast Club. So all the music that we were used to on the great 80s movies, they're coming to life.
Wow. Yep. That's going to be exciting.
I am excited.
You're going to push the shoe thing there?
We'll have 80s shoes.
Yeah,
trust me.
You will. I believe
80s hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Tim, we were on stage with someone at the Walker Center for an interview. Taylor Hicks, I think, right? Yeah, that was a great interview. Oh, he's a great guy.
He's a good performer, too.
Yeah, he's real solid.
Top-notch voice.
And just keeps on going, He just
does.
keeps on going, and he's got those restaurants,
Oh.
We talked about barbecue sauce, and they have a white barbecue sauce.
Oh, like the Alabama sauce.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So anyway, that was good fun. Talked about liver mush. You know, he had his connections to the Carolinas. You know,
thin and very crispy.
Yeah.
You know, what's interesting is that some of my best friends growing up would have liver mush around the house.
Yeah.
And if that's not Carolina, I don't know what is.
Well, he does that show State Plate, so he talked about some foods that were probably pretty disgusting, but and he acknowledged the same, but
Yes.
it was it's part of the gig. So I just think the Walker Center has such a great stage, a great audience experience,
Yes.
and that's something to be really proud of.
It is. And one other program that we're getting to bring back that's been on hold for a bit too is our school show programming. And that is probably one of my favorite parts of my job.
What is it? Tell us.
So the kids in the community are able to take field trips to come in and see performances that they may not get a chance to ever see outside of Wilkes County.
Right.
So they're getting theater, education, and entertainment, and learning the etiquette. So we meet and greet them at the doors, teach them how to sit down properly in their seats, and then we have a performance that is based on their grade level. We have study guides for the teachers so that they can prepare ahead of time, and then they can use that in their curriculum. So it is a wonderful, wonderful program.
So it basically shows the kids how to go to the theater?
It does.
I love that.
Does. Oh, it's great. And, it shows them that how they can be comfortable in that setting.
Of
We
course.
don't ever want people to feel like they're not welcome there. And they'll come in and they'll think it's the biggest place in the world.
Right,
of course you do. When I went to school, elementary school, I went to Trap Hill Elementary, so way out in the country, and it was an all-day event when we came to the Walker Center.
Right.
Because the bus ride, lunch, getting back, and I can still remember how good that felt, and now I get to be a part of that planning process.
Wow. Isn't it funny how things impact our life when
Yeah.
we're young? And we have those moments of reflection. It's like, oh, or you had dreams when you were young, you visualize. Did you ever imagine yourself on stage introducing the show?
I can tell you, I used to love to go to the beach shows, like when we'd go on family vacations. We've always went, my entire family.
Oh, like Broadway at the Beach
yes.
and the Dixie
loved them.
Stampede.
We would
and
always
all
get
those.
tickets for something while
Right.
we were there, and I would just be like, "Wow, that'd be so awesome to
Yeah.
to do." And getting full circle, I guess, coming back to that is pretty neat.
I don't know that the world and society can truly be at peace with itself or have hope without entertainment.
Yeah.
I think it's that one thing that opens the door for all of us to walk in a room together
You're right.
and be okay with whatever.
Yeah. Music, it makes you just feel good. There's different times that you want to listen to sad music, or you want
Right.
to feel good, or while I'm cleaning house, I'm like, let's get some rock going so I can
Sure.
get into this.
Sure.
But no matter who you are, what age, boy, girl, whatever, and I told you a little about my son. He's autistic and he loves to listen to music. He gives Alexa quite the workout. And he wants certain versions, and he
Right.
knows them by name and
Right.
exactly who sings them and what key they're in and all that. But yeah, it's a way for everybody to connect. Yeah.
Yeah, I've just seen it be such a wonderful thing it's almost like it's tangible. You can almost feel how good it makes people feel.
Right.
This weekend we were covering a gig and people of all ages and a lot of people older, and everybody was dancing and having a great time.
Right.
And they were so into it. The performer just happened to be a little older too. So, but I mean, it was music that we all grew up with. It was
Yes.
music that we'd heard before, and to see people celebrate life together, that was a nice thing.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned memories or something feel good. That always, a certain song can take you back to, I remember when that, and it doesn't just happen for the generation that music was in. It could be any generation. I still have this memory of, we had a 6th grade trip to Washington, D.C., and we danced on the riverboat to this song that's like really old school, and I can't think of it right now, but I remember when it comes on every time I go back to that.
Wait a minute, that was a school trip to Washington?
Was, yes.
I remember that. Everybody goes on that boat, I guess.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my gosh, I remember that.
I do remember the name of it right now. It was Red, Red Wine, which I'm not sure is a great song for 6th grade, but anyway, a glass of red wine, it's not so bad this day either.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it clearly planted the seed.
Yes, that's right.
It was a foreshadowing of what's to come.
Yes, you're right.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, so what do you have to say to folks, who are looking for a good experience for theater, about the Walker Center, or just in general? Our audience is all over the place. So, what's your advice?
Well, my advice is try something new. If you've never heard of the band, give it a chance. We've been doing this almost 40 years, not quite yet, but we just trust us that we'll bring the quality to you. And, the people that have been coming for years, they automatically know that it's going to be something that they enjoy. So I just encourage people to get out in your community too and support what we have. It's so nice to be able to walk in the back door and go to an entertainment facility and pay a very reasonable price instead of traveling. Nothing wrong with traveling. I love to go to concerts all over the place, but it's just nice to have that facility. So, just get out and try something new.
Yeah, it's good to get out. It's good to leave home and drive a short distance and have a nice night out and be entertained and come back and dream about it.
Right, and not have to worry about finding sitters all over, for long amounts of times.
That's right.
It's a good thing.
Well, Tabitha, it's been great catching up with you. We look forward to visiting the Walker Center with you, and we'll look at doing something on TV too, because it's a fun thing, and it sounds like it's working, and we like things that are working.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, Tabitha.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Life in the Carolinas podcast. If you enjoyed your time with us, please visit the show's website at lifeinthecarolinas.com. Join our mailing list, and we'll keep you updated every week on what we have coming up and other interesting things around the Carolinas. We value you as a podcast subscriber. We'll see you next week. And remember what Carl says, it's never a bad time for a good story.